What's happening, my friend? My name's David and welcome to my YouTube channel. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing the challenges of switching careers in your 30s and how best to do it. And I'm also going to be talking about reasons why people get stuck or they don't even start, and my mistakes switching careers in my 30s. So stick around. So if you're new to my channel and you like personal and spiritual development videos, hit the subscribe button and notification bell because I release new videos every Monday, and let's get started. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of why I wanted to switch careers. Basically, I hated my job. I was an accountant for about 9 or 10 years, and it was just really, for me, soul destroying. Didn't like it, so I had to make a change. And one of the biggest reasons I think people don't switch careers is because they think they're too old, especially if you get into 30s, which is what we're talking about. When you hit 30, you're at that age where you're like, oh, maybe is it too late to switch careers now? Maybe if I was, 2 years ago, it would have been okay. So I think one of the biggest things that stops people is their age. And then the other thing that stops people switching careers in their 30s could be a lot of life commitments. They might be married, they might have a mortgage, they may have kids. There's a lot of financial commitments, there's a lot of reasons why all these things, like these externalities that are very important but could very well be getting in the way of you switching careers in your 30s. Now, I was in a unique position where I didn't have kids, I wasn't married, I didn't have a house, so I was very able to make that switch, or at least get the ball rolling, switching careers. And when I say switch careers, I don't just mean necessarily getting a new job, because I did that many times over the last few years where I went into banking, or I went into retail, or I went into sales, and those were fairly smooth transitions. Or even really going from one job and maybe studying at university. What I mean is starting your own business, or perhaps starting some sort of freelance type thing or like a service-based business is what I'm talking about. Because if you're studying, then you're gonna have to mix that in with your full-time work and your family time, or whatever you have going on. So some of the biggest mistakes I think people make, and I made this mistake too, is thinking that business is going to solve all their problems. I genuinely thought that business was going to be easy, and that I would just quit my job, start a business, and then the clients would come in and the money would come in at the same time. And it just doesn't work like that. When it comes down to it, if you could be successful in business, you would have already done it. And quite likely you don't have the business skills in order to succeed, and I didn't. Now, if you're in sales, or if you're in marketing, and or if you're in copywriting or something, then you do have business skills already, and there's a good chance that you could succeed if you're good at bringing in revenue. But for people like myself who didn't have any business skills, no revenue generating skills at all, it was a very big mistake for me to do what I did. So another big mistake people make is they quit their job too early. Now, this is something that I see often. I'm in a bunch of different communities online, and a lot of people quit their jobs thinking that they're gonna start earning money as soon as they finish this course, and then it takes time. Everything takes time. So if you are in a position where you're thinking about doing a course, definitely don't quit your job until you finish the course at the very least, and then start looking for clients or whatever it is that you need to do in order to get more money coming in, because it is going to be very challenging if you just quit your job and lose that source of income. And I know that sounds obvious, but I made that mistake, and a lot of people make that mistake, even though it is a bit of a silly mistake to make. Another thing that I see, and something that I was also guilty of, is being too optimistic. Now, it's important being optimistic, but you don't want to be overly optimistic. You want to be very realistic about what's going to happen when you quit your job, or when you move, make that transition from your job to a new thing, to your side hustle, or whatever it is you want to call it, or a business. So here are some things that I would do differently. Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have started a business. Definitely not. As I said before, I thought business was going to solve all my problems, and what it actually does is business gives you a lot more problems. You've got to worry about the revenue coming in. If you're starting a brick and mortar business, you've got to worry about rent and paying your creditors and things like that. There's a lot going on there. If you're starting an online business, it's not so difficult. You may have some software subscriptions and things like that. So your expenses could be a lot less. Nevertheless, you still have expenses. So what I would have done differently is I would have tried a bunch of different things. Now, when I say that, I mean try a few different courses and things that you think you might enjoy, and maybe just a cheap course on Udemy or something first. Have a, maybe it's sales, maybe it's marketing, maybe it's copywriting, maybe it's software development or something else. And when you find that thing that you like, go all in on that thing. Find the best person that you can find to teach you that thing, an online mentor perhaps, or maybe somebody in your city, and go all in on that skill or whatever it is and learn it from the best person you can find, because it really does matter who you learn from. It's not so much important what you learn, but who you learn from is way more important, because by definition, if you're learning from someone at this level versus someone at this level, you're going to be learning much more, very different things. So the best way to transition into a new career is, once you find that thing that you really enjoy and that you want to do and that you want to perhaps do for a very long period of time, and you find that person, you're going to have to start the side hustle. Do that in your spare time, maybe part-time, especially if you've got a family or something. Time will be perhaps very hard to come by, but it's important to maintain your full-time job. Or if you don't have a family or a lot of expenses, maybe you could go part-time in your job, or maybe find a different part-time job and then start the side hustle and start earning a little bit of money with that. And then when you're able to replace your income completely, then you could make that transition. So to sum up this video, if you are in your 30s or even in your 40s or even in your late 20s and you're thinking about changing career, just know that you're not too old. You could do it at any time. It just requires a lot of planning in some ways, because I know people that are older than me that have done it. I know people and they have families as well. And what they did was they started the side hustle. They learned the new skills, did it part-time, started earning money, and managed to make the smooth transition. Yes, it is going to be very hectic. Yes, you are going to have to work longer hours and you're going to have longer days than you normally would. But if you really want to change careers, then you're going to have to make some of those sacrifices, and you are going to have to put in the work and the time, because the only other option is staying where you are. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have liked it, give it a thumbs up. I'd love to hear from you if you've switched careers in the past and you found it difficult. What were some of the biggest challenges you had? Or maybe if you're thinking about switching careers, let me know below too. So until the next video, peace, much love, and take care.